It's really important to create when you are feeling your very best. And I say that because from my own experience, I get really frustrated kind of like if it's late at night, maybe it's like, 9:30 or something like that. And I really hadn't gotten a chance to dig into a creative project that maybe I was working on the night before. And I was like, I just want to go in there and tweak it around and, play with it. It might just be better off just to not try and create that night. Everybody's either a morning person or an evening person. I've come to realize in my life, I'm sure you know this as well. There's people that just work better in the morning. There's people that work better in the evening. I've gone to both extremes. I've gotten up early to do things. I've also stayed up really late to work on music. Everybody has their own personal preference, but just make sure you're not tired when you're working on something. A lot of times you can get really into the flow and not realize how tired you are. And then you go back later and look at the thing that you made the night before and you're just like, what was I thinking? This sounds terrible. There's actually a scientific study regarding the actual change in your brain chemistry as the night wears on based on what you're doing. And you've listened to something so many times and your ears kind of like adjust to this quality that might not be an accurate reading of what you're listening to, and you're processing it differently late at night. I would say don't bother at that point. I would say work less and higher quality. There's so many studies that's, long hours don't really work. And someday we'll all figure that out as a society, that working long extended hours doesn't actually improve your work. The same goes for creative work as well. It's the same thing. You're going to have diminishing returns eventually as you're working. Create when you are in your best state. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to spend a bunch of time working on a creative project that you're just going to throw away later. That might just be part of your process. Maybe, you're doing sketches. Maybe you're not doing a project that you're really dedicated to. But if you're working on a song that you're really excited about, it's best to be at your highest energy level. I found that starting a project, after dinner for a couple hours is actually really nice, kind of relaxing for the day. I'll dive into a project that I'm working on. I'll get a couple hours of work done, and then, 10 o'clock or something rolls around and I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to unplug for the day. I come up with something that I like or I didn't like and I ended up throwing out, but at least I had like the right vibe and the right energy level to work on that project at that time. Maybe you wake up before work or something like that in the morning. You have an hour before you have to start thinking about going to work, and you can sit down with your coffee and you just start, ideas start flowing, and maybe that's your best creative time. Pick your best time of the day to do your creative work. And that goes especially with working on a computer to make music. This is general philosophy about creativity in general. We can get derailed by the voices in our head really fast, like, oh, this isn't good enough, you're not good enough. Really, you might just be tired, or you might not have had enough for dinner, or you're just not feeling well that day. It's not really, it's not happening. So just let it go. Just be gentle with yourself and meditate, take walks. Make sure you are in like a centered state when you go to create. That's the best way. That's going to create your best work.